Hey, Shalom Markins, Vakam Akapash from GMS Learning, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing the truth in all sincerity. Alright, back again with another video. And, I just want to go into, this term called racism, right? Because hate and racism are not the same, right? Because you automatically, link people that are racist to people that I don't know are full of hate, right? As a you know as a reference to us, right? Because we don't like you nations, right? Or you know we feel that, not that we feel, but the Most High made us better than you nations, right? Because this is where racism really stems from, right? It doesn't stem from hate. If you're a racist, that you just automatically hate, right? You just hate everybody. Like you wish death and destruction upon everybody. Just because you're a different race. That's really not what racism is, right? They're kind of separate things, all right? The reason why we hate you nations isn't because of your race, right? It's literally because of the things you've done to our people, right? Racism is a separate thing completely, which is what we're going to get into in this video. All right. So I've got a definition here from Google. Racism, right? It says prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. Now, again, that's not really accurate. Let's be real, right? Which we gonna get this bit here, right? This paragraph says the belief that different races possess distinct characteristics, abilities, or qualities, especially so as to distinguish them as inferior or superior to one another. That is an accurate statement, right? That races are, or there is a particular race that is better than another, right? It's preference, right? Everybody will believe that their race is superior or better, right? Esau been pushing that for the longest, even though he'd be the most inferior of all nations on the earth, all right? But the Lord did set up a people that were of greater ability, that were special, right? And this is why we tell you that the Most High is only a racist, right? Because he does have favoritism for a particular people. He sees them as better. He made them to be better, right? So when we go out there and we teach and we speak about the Israelites, we speak about these other nations, they are inferior to the Israelites. Okay, they are inferior to us, right? But that don't mean on a personal level we hate them all like that. We just because you're of another nation, we're just gonna hate you. We're just gonna, just because we think we're better, we're just gonna hate you. That doesn't make sense, right? And that is not how our people have typically behaved, right? When you read the scriptures, our people never behaved like that, right? Just because we knew we were better, or knew that the Lord was with us, because that's the only difference that makes us who we are, that makes us superior, is that the Most High is with us as a people, where he's not with the other nations, right? So that makes them inferior. The fact that the Lord is not with them. Okay, what makes us superior is the fact the Lord is with us, man, and we have His laws, statutes, and commandments. We have been given knowledge beyond the other nations, right? That's what makes us superior, not because we got melanin. You got them blackites out there, right? That's all about the melanin. Yeah, nothing to do with melanin, right? Yeah, melanin is advantageous to have, but there's plenty of other black nations and tribes out there, right, that are inferior to us, right? It ain't about that, right? It's not about because we're athletically gifted, though that is a side product of the Lord, blessing us, being with us, man. The fact that we have greater abilities and things about us that surpass the other nations, right? Those things come with being with the Lord ultimately, being the Lord's chosen people, right? But the Lord is the one that has done this, just like He's done in the rest of nature. Like, not all cats are the same. You got big cats and you got domestic cats. They're not on the equal footing, even though they're all cats. Same with humanity, with mankind, right? We're not all on an equal footing. The Lord has never created nothing in equality, even amongst Israelites, right? Who are superior. There's levels, right? Not every Israelite is equal, right? So this idea of equality has never really existed. But anytime you push inequality or this fact of life, Esau and these other nations be quick jumping you like you're full of hate. You hate this, and you hate these people. You're full of hate. When really it's got nothing to do with that, right? Like, so on a personal level, like, you don't hate people like, this thing is not really ultimately personal. Like, there might be some personal things, personal beefs that you got with certain of these nations, right? Certain of these people that you bump into in life. You really want to do something to them. Like, you actually do hate them, right? But on the scale the Most High is dealing with, man, the hate really comes from the Heavenly Father, right? The fact that you've trespassed against Him and harmed these people, and we're obviously angry with that. Okay, but it's not a personal thing. You nations are going to go into slavery and be punished because of the wickedness that you've done, right? But on the personal one-to-one level, it'd be very, a few individuals that have crossed your path that you really want to get hold of like that. A lot of this is just about justice and punishment, judgment. We hate you nations on a general basis because of your wickedness and what you've done to us, right? Well, on a personal level, it's not like that. So, we see Edomite or another heathen, anybody down the street, down the road, the workplace, wherever, we're not acting like crazy animals around them. You know what I mean? Trying to strangle them and shit. Right, that's, I'm not trying to do that. You say hi, you know what I mean? It's not personal. Like, fucking, hey, there's some heathens that, are kind of cool with you, man. But they're still gonna go into slavery. I don't, those heathens that are cool with you, I don't hate them, but they're a heathen, right? They are beneath me, and they are gonna go into slavery. They are gonna have to pay for the crimes of their peoples, man. It is what it is, right? It's all you guys like, guys like vocab that you really start to hate because they're just demons. Like, we hate you, vocab. We do hate you on a personal level. Right? But, like, generally, if you're cool, we're cool, kind of thing, right? But that doesn't change the fact that you're going to be judged and you're going to be enslaved and getting whooped up because, hey, that's part of the punishment. It's what it is, right? But back on this whole race idea, and the Most High is the one that created the races, so he created people separately and differently, right? He did all of this, right? The Lord separated the nations. Right, so let me run and get that. Divided nations, right? So the Lord created the different nations, right? If this Lord, if the Lord wanted everyone to be the same, we would just be one nation, innit? But Lord created different nations, and gave them different ways, so to speak, right? I'm looking. Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, He separated the sons of Adam, right? He separated them, right? Gave them different ways of living, man. Okay? He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel, right? For the Lord's portion is His people. Jacob is the lot of His inheritance, right? Jacob, i.e. the Israelites, are His chosen people, right? They're His chosen people, right? So the Lord revealed Himself unto Israel, unto Jacob, right? Or our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? But he didn't reveal himself to the other nations. Okay, and that remains true to this day, right? And just another thing here that I saw when I was looking at this. This is yeah, right. We was warned to follow, warned in or about following the other nations, right? The other nations are what's the word I want? They're unaware, right? They follow, basically, the lust of the flesh, right? So we were warned about following them, right? Because they got their own things that they worship, which is not the truth. So obviously, when you got the truth and these people are running around in darkness, well, obviously that puts you on a higher level than they are. All right, and so we was like told not to follow after their ways because, well, it was not any good, right? For lack of better words, right? It says Deuteronomy chapter 4 says this, and verse I'm going to read from verse 16 here, right? It says, lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, right? And this is something all these other nations would do. Like they set up their gods, their idols, based on these things, or the phallics or the woman's vagina, or it would be some sort of beast, it would be a cow, it would be a dog, it would be some, that's what they would do. That's what they worshipped. Right, but the Most High they didn't worship. They didn't know about. They were ignorant. That's what I wanted. These other nations are ignorant. They don't know. Okay. But we are enlightened. We Most High revealed Himself to us, right? The likeness of anything that keepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. Right, lest thou lift up thy eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, another thing that these other nations worship, the celestial bodies, right? Even all the hosts of heaven should be driven to worship them, because we're not meant to worship these things, right? And serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven, right? The Lord left them to believe in idols, right? To worship these things. The Lord didn't reveal Himself to correct them, because then the Lord the Lord's not really with them. Right, the Lord chose us to reveal Himself to us, to give us the truth. Okay, so that we could worship Him, right, and so that He would bless us. Right, but the rest of these nations were given unto idols, essentially, right? But Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6 says this, right? For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself above all that are upon the face of the earth, right? So the Most High separated the nations, chose Israel, okay, and made them to be above. That's racism. That is favor. He's showing them favor above other nations, which is basically what you read here. The belief that different races possess distinct characteristics which the Lord has given us, right? Abilities or qualities, especially so as to distinguish them as inferior, right? The ways of the heathen were inferior because they were worshipping idols. So they had all kind of weird, wicked customs that they would practice. Right? So they were inferior. They were ignorant. Right? It would be like, let's take cave people, right? You used to like to talk about cave people, right? Even though they were the cave people when it wasn't all that long ago. But if you came across a caveman and you don't, can't talk, can't do shit, right? Drawing pictures with his shit, whatever, right? With a club in his hand, right? Like you come across one of those dudes, man. They're like they're dumb as rocks, don't know nothing. Of course, you're of a higher level than they are. They are inferior. Oh yeah, they might have strength or something, but they're dumb as rocks, man. You know what I'm saying? Right? They would be inferior. The level of intelligence that typical man. I use that term loosely. You would be on a higher level than that Neanderthal. But that is the difference between us and the other nations. Essentially, these people are running around with sticks and stones, basically in their knowledge, like knowledge wise. They don't know the truth. They're worshiping idols, man. You know, when the Lord is the ultimate source of knowledge, and that's what the Lord bestowed upon us, right? So again, it says, especially so as to distinguish them as inferior or superior to one another, right? And there was something, here, right? And this is from, what is the definition of racist in Oxford Dictionary, right? AI overview. It says, in English, racist means someone who believes that their own race is superior to others, right? And so we've had the example of this in the past, and this is why they don't like the term, because they'll talk about Hitler and his idea that he was, his race was a superior race, but Esau in general believes that he's superior, right? That was the whole point why he had us in slavery, and doing all these experiments on us to prove or show that the Negro was inferior and they belong underneath us and blah 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 blah, right? To try and big himself up, right? So this is something that's been kind of been put out there, but then a negative light's been put on it because the way Esau has acted and behaved, right? Because he's crazy anyway. But the so-called white man is the reason why being a racist is such a negative thing. When really it's just being patriotic, which you promote though. You promote being patriotic, but that's being a racist. So you play with these words, but right. But it says being someone who believes that their own race is superior to others and may act on this belief through prejudice, right? Now Esau does, right? Discrimination or antagonism towards people of other races. It can also refer to the systemic oppression of one racial group by another, okay, which is what which you Edomites do, right? Right. As a noun, racist refers to a person who holds racist beliefs. They believe that some races are inherently better than others, right? But this is what the Most High believes, right? So that's like when we call the Most High racist, it's not like, you shouldn't be shocked. This is how the Most High has always been, right? He separated nations. He chooses people. He shows them favor, right? And we've read it here, Deuteronomy 7 verse 6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So what is that? Right? So when we're out here saying these things, it's not because, we've just, we got a chip on our shoulder, like we just want to try to make ourselves feel better. Like, no, the Most High have said these things, right? We believe these things, right? So we will proclaim these things. And these things are basically evident, okay, that we are a higher class of people, right? But as it is pursuing to prophecy, man, we're in a lower state right now. All right, so we acknowledge all of that. But just because Esau's on top and he's got all this technology and that ultimately he's not superior to us, right? He's just been given his time to rule over us. So the Lord made us special, right? Not because we said it, the Lord said it, right? We're just telling you what it is, okay? So yeah, the Most High made us above. He made us superior, okay, by being our power, by being our God, all right? Let's see. Let me read this then, right? Jeremiah 10 verse 2 says, thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. Okay, because again, the heathen are ignorant, right? The heathen are going to bring you down. Okay? Learn the ways of the heathen is not going to elevate you. Right? We've seen that. Okay, we've seen that, man. We see the results of that. All right? Right? Because they'll say the heathen are ignorant, they're in the dark, they don't really know what's going on. Right? So learn not the way of the heathen and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. They're confused. Right? So they got all these wicked ass customs that they were doing and that you don't follow them. Okay, because I've given you this. I've given you these laws, such as commandments, which is the truth, which is life. Right? These men are doing the works of death. Right? So again, it's because of the Heavenly Father that we were made superior. Right? And like I said, it doesn't necessarily play out right now in this world. But when the Israelites are changed into gods, you're gonna know for sure, right? That these are the chosen people of the Lord, and they are not like everybody else. They're not like these other nations. Right? And that's what we believe. Right? So yeah, we're racist, or we prefer our kind. But again, it don't mean like because you prefer your kind or you believe your kind is better, it don't mean that you're just an ultimate arsehole. Right? That you're gonna operate with hate. That doesn't equate to the same thing. Right? You get this example, well, not an example, but I think that's said in the scriptures, right? Romans 12, verse 18. So if it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men, right? We are commanded to live in peace, right? As much as we can, right? Yeah, we've got enemies that, have to be dealt with and whatever, but generally, right? If there's no beef kind of thing, then just because you're inferior, it don't mean, like I said, that I'm gonna just, roll up on you, and do you harm, or, no, you'll see that our people, the Israelites, right? I've always, worked with other nations or been cool with other nations, as long as they were cool, right? Yeah, we have our beliefs and that, but that don't mean that I can't talk to you, or I can't work with you, or can't, you know, have some type of respect of what you're doing, even if I don't believe in it or don't agree with it. Like, whatever in it, do your thing. You're a heathen anyway, so it's like that's what you're gonna do. I look down upon you like that, but it's like, come on, man. Like, what else was you gonna do? You're not us. You're not us, innit? You're not us. So you're not gonna be right anyway. But like Abraham, you know, when he met people from different lands, he was cool with them. You know, Joseph in Egypt, he was cool with them, right? But he knew he was an Israelite. He knew like these were heathens. The same way we know these people are heathens out here. But like I said, we ain't gonna go around acting like assholes trying to choke everybody out. You know, we just simply believe and know that we are above you and better than you. But at the same time, we're in captivity. So, we have to acknowledge that too. All right. It's Genesis 27, verse 29, right? Because this is how things are supposed to be. This is the blessing that was given unto Jacob, right? It said, let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee, right? We're meant to be over the other nations, right? Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee, right? So if you're cool, then we're cool. If you got a problem, we've got a problem. Like I said, on the personal level, and like I said, we've met certain individuals that you have a personal issue with, right? Send curses upon those motherfuckers, right? But on a general basis, like, there's no hate like that. Yeah, we hate you as a nation for what you've done, and we're gonna bring judgment against you, right, for your crimes. But on a personal level, like, I can let cool with you. I can work at the same job as you without burying you somewhere. You know what I mean? This idea that racism and hate are the same thing or equate to the same thing is yeah, it's ridiculous, really, right? But you want to tie that in to make it seem like we're just some evil men, we're just some evil men, that want to put you into slavery. But you have to understand that your slavery isn't based, isn't because we're racist. You know what I mean? It's not because how you look or how you dress, right? It's because of deeds done. right? It's because of deeds done. 2 Kings chapter 21. Actually, no. That's not what I wanted. Amos chapter 5, verse 15. Hate the evil and love the good, right? You've done evil. And we hate that. We hate you for that. We hate you nations for that. Right? So we haven't gotten the problems with bringing down the judgment. This is what you hear us talking about plenty of times out on the highways and byways. Okay, how are we going to put you nations into subjection, into slavery? Right? That is still going to be the case. You know, wherever there's a heathen that you know that you call with, man, he's still going to go into slavery. You know, because you got to pay. Right? You've done evil, and so you have to pay for that evil, man. You nations have to pay. Right? So we want that revenge. We want that get back. Right? That the Most High has said that we would have, basically. Right? So I hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that Lord God of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. All right? So it's because of the things you've done, as opposed to where you're from. You know, who you related to. What people, what nation do you belong to? It has nothing to do with that. But you nations do come from somebody, so you know it is what it is. You Edomites will have to pay. Right? As a nation, you have to pay. In Psalms 139, verse 22, I hate them with a perfect hatred. Like, this is King David speaking, right? Talking about the enemies of the Lord, right? And you know, and this is the thing: our enemies are the Lord's enemies, because you've done wrong to us. You've harmed us, right? The Lord's people, the ones that He chosen, the one He favors above all, right? You've done them harm, and so He hates you. So I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies, right? I should read up Salakia. Verse 21, right? Let's start from 19. So surely thou wilt slay the wicked. O God, depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? Right? Am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. Right? It tells you there's a time for love and a time to hate. Hate, there's nothing wrong with hate if it's justified. You know, if it's righteous, right? It's fine. But if you're basing, you know, your hate based on how someone looks, you're a bit ignorant. Let's be honest, you're ignorant. Oh, he's black. He's got big lips and and a wide nose. Oh, I hate him. It's like, what the fuck, man? What's wrong with you? No, our qualm is not as childish as that. You know, oh, we just hate white people. No, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that, man. There's white Israelites, man. You know, there's Israelites out there that look white. It's not about what you look like, your skin color, right? And it never was. Esau made it that, this black and white thing, right? But black and white is not a race. They're not races, right? You've done the Israelites grievous harm, and you have yet to pay for that, right? That is why, we hate you, right? Because you act like you ain't done anything wrong, right? And so judgment has to come, It says, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies, right? So it's okay. It's okay. But like I said, right now, we're in captivity and we're commanded to be peaceable, right? Like Solomon with Hiram Abiff, he was a heathen, but they were cool, but he's still a heathen. It's not like Solomon wasn't aware of the fact that he was a heathen, but he was a cool heathen. He did work for me. He did good work for me. He did as was asked. And Solomon rewarded him. That's why Scripture said, "Blessed is he that blesseth thee." If you do well unto us, then hey, we treat you with respect and that. Just because we have this understanding about ourselves, it don't mean that, like I said, we have to hate other nations because they're beneath. It doesn't mean that. It's First Maccabees chapter 2 verse 10 said, "What nation?" Let's see quickly. Reading verse 7 said, "He said, Woe is me, wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?" Right? So when it comes to judgment, none of you nations are going to get a pass. Right? None of you nations are going to get a pass. And none of you people in these nations are going to get a pass. Right? Whether you cool with us or not. You have to pay for what you've done. Right? This is where the hate stems from. Not because of, like I said, what you look like or where you come from. Right? These matters are two separate things. Being a racist, right? And I don't know, what do you call that? Hatist. I don't know. Like, just because you're racist doesn't mean you hate. Right? What I'm trying to say, right? Just because you're racist doesn't mean you hate. But the reason why we hate is because of the things you've done. Right? The things that you nations have done. Right? But they are separate things. Okay? Because Israel will always be racist. The Most High is always going to be racist, right? But it's like, like the scripture said, the Lord still brings sun and rain upon the nations and stuff. It's not like, it's not like you're Esau. The Lord outright hates and he's going to destroy it, and like, just because you don't like them. Right? Your other heathens are going to be around, man, and you're gonna get to enjoy the planet, under the rulership of the Israelites. But best believe you're going to be under. Right? You're going to be beneath. You are going to be inferior. And you're gonna know that. You're gonna know that place, and you're gonna respect it, man. You're gonna respect the fact that these are the Lord's people, and that you're just regular people. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Knowing your place is a part of peace, man. You ain't trying to punch above your station and shit, and trying to be, be competitive and all that kind of shit, man. You won't be where we're at. Let's see, what time is it? That's 46. What's the video been? All right, let's see. Leviticus 25 verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen. Right? You heathen were made to be our servants. Okay, that's just what it's supposed to be. Right? It's not what it is right now, but that's what it's supposed to be. Okay, and our mentality is as such. Okay. Which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall you buy bondmen and bondmaids. Okay. In Psalms 2 and 8 says, ask of me and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. Right? It's part of our possession. And the utmost parts of the earth for thy possession. Right? Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Right? Because we're going to bring judgment upon these nations. Right? Be wise, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. All right? So we believe these things. It's not, we're not ashamed to believe it. Right? But again, it don't mean, just because we're racist, don't mean that, that's not the source of our hate. All right? Believing that we're superior is not the source of our hate. Let's see. It's Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 25. It says, pour out thy fury upon the heathen that know thee not, and upon the families that called not on thy name, for they have eaten up Jacob and devoured him. Right? This is where that hatred comes from. The fact that you devoured us. Right? You've consumed us. Right? And this is why the Lord is bringing judgment upon the other nations. Okay? It says, that call not on thy name, for they have eaten up Jacob and devoured him and consumed him, and have made his habitation desolate. Okay? These are the reasons, right? And all you nations have had your part in that. I think I read that. Did I read that? First Maccabees 2 verse 10 says, what nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Okay, so you've already played your part. And so the Lord's got judgment against you, right? This is Isaiah 34 verse 8. So for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Right, for everything done unto Zion by you nations. Right, and beginning with Esau in the land of America. Right? It says, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Right? So America is going to be destroyed by a thermonuclear fire. Right? And be unlivable or uninhabitable. Right? Such is the wickedness of Esau in America. Right? So it shall not be quenched night nor day, and the smoke thereof shall go out forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. It's Baruch chapter 4 verse 31. It says, miserable are they that afflicted thee and rejoiced at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad at thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. Okay, again, beginning with Esau in America, man. All right, the land of America is going to be completely destroyed. For I will take away the rejoicing of a great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, as she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. All right, so don't mix the two up. It's because of your wickedness. Okay, why all this hatred is coming your way. But like I said, it's a general hatred. It's a general hatred, man. And right now, we're commanded to walk peaceably, if possible, with all men. And that's how we've always been as a people. But you fuck around, then you find out, right, that there is the other side to us, man, and to the Lord. And the Lord's going to bring this great judgment, man, because of all your deeds. Okay, but like I said, being a racist doesn't equate to being, I don't know. I need a new word for this, man. It doesn't roll nice, right? Being a racist isn't a source of hatred. I think that's pretty much it. I think I've read what I wanted to read. But yeah, so I've done videos on this before. But yeah, like I said, we are superior, right? Even though it doesn't look it right now, we are superior. And we don't mind telling you about it, right? But, like I said, to confuse that with, just being hating because of how you look and where you come from. It's stupid. It's stupid, right? You've done great crimes on the earth, right? Great crimes against us, okay? That you simply have to pay for, man. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Lord, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.